The ego cannot ask the Holy Spirit for anything because there is complete communication failure between them. Yet you can ask for everything of the Holy Spirit because your requests to Him are real, being of your right mind. Would the Holy Spirit deny the will of God? And could He fail to recognize it in His Son? God does not know about the ego, for He does not know about separation. The ego and the Holy Spirit speak completely different languages based on mutually exclusive premises. Nevertheless, what the Holy Spirit can do is use what the ego has made, the world and our relationships in it, to serve a different purpose by changing the content in the mind. Again, the right-minded request to the Holy Spirit by the decision maker, the you Jesus is addressing, are always for help in remembering who we are, to share His perception that everything here is a learning opportunity through which He teaches us we are forgiven. You do not recognize the enormous waste of energy you expend in denying truth. This statement should give us pause as we look at our daily lives, let alone the lives of societies, and see how much time and effort we spend in denying truth, which entails everything we do to improve our bodily lot specifically and world conditions in general. If this is our only focus, not as means to the end of mindfully changing our perceptions, but as an end in itself, we expend enormous energy in denying the truth of atonement that is in our minds. We need always recall that the ego made the world and its problems as a smokescreen to conceal the true nature of the problem, and then convinced us to spend our lives seeking the world's, guidance on how to solve problems that do not exist. Several years ago, I began using the statement that the world is a maladaptive solution to a non-existent problem. It is maladaptive because it does not work, for it does not make us happy. Moreover, the world is a solution to the mind's problem of guilt that does not exist. Repressing what is non-existent, the ego projects guilt out as a world of bodies that seems palpable and real. Thus, the ego's cleverness, with its coup de grace, having us ask the Holy Spirit to solve external problems that are not there. For example, the ego takes a spiritual concept such as forgiveness or asking for guidance and brings it into the dream. Rather than bring the illusory dream to the Holy Spirit for help in changing the mind, the ego places forgiveness in an earthly frame, the body. Its previously cited philosophy of, if you can't lick them, join them. It does not dissuade us from becoming spiritual, but merely changes our pursuits so they end up mindlessly glorifying the ego, without our even knowing what has gone wrong. What would you say of someone who persists in attempting the impossible, believing that to achieve it is to succeed? This theme is carried throughout the Course's symphony. We firmly establish ourselves in learning situations that can only fail because what we learn here will never bring us happiness, ours and the world's beliefs to the contrary. In right-minded perception, we could only label would-be Don Quixotes as insane, tilting the ego's windmills that do not exist and could never bring us the peace we seek. The belief that you must have the impossible in order to be happy is totally at variance with the principle of creation. Jesus is referring to our specialness. In order to be happy, we must gain that special something, the impossible, possessed by someone else. The reflection of creation's principle is that the true special something, love, can only be shared equally, for it is one. From here to the end of the paragraph, we see statements of the atonement principle that the separation never happened. God could not will that happiness depended on what you could never have. The fact that God is love does not require belief, but it does require acceptance. It is indeed possible for you to deny facts, although it is impossible for you to change them. The fact that God is love does not need our belief because it is. Its truth, however, needs to be accepted. Our denial of love does not mean it is not there, but our desire for the specialness we can never truly have prevents our recognition of the simple fact that God's love has never changed, nor have we as God's Son.